What is up, everybody? We just had Fred Rosser and Chase Owens, and now we are here with former WWE and ROH commentary member, currently one member of the English New Japan commentary team, Kevin Kelly. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, Jacob. How are you doing?
We are all doing great. How's life going on with COVID-19 and all the restrictions and all that kind of stuff?
Listen, the most important thing is that both, my family and I, we've all been healthy throughout this, and we haven't had any problems or issues. And to anybody that has suffered from it personally or has lost family members or friends, my heart goes out to all of you and condolences. The little inconveniences that we suffer on a day-to-day basis, Jacob, to me, it's, it doesn't, it all pales in comparison to what people have personally gone through. And I just hope that, this is over sooner rather than later so that we can all get back to life as we remember it before, February or so of this year.
Awesome. We will hop right into it. We have a lot of people who want to say hi today, so we'll say hi to Michael first.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, Kevin. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Excellent. I dig the banners behind you. Very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Towel.
My LIJ hat as well.
I love it. Very good. Where are you from?
I'm from Minnesota. I'm about like an hour north of Minneapolis. You can kind of hear with my O's.
That's awesome.
My question is with the G1 is like, what's the most exciting aspect about commentating the G1, whether it was when you were there with like the past 2-3 years or now with like at home?
Well, this year it has been different because of COVID, so we hadn't been able to travel over there. But the most important thing for Rocky and me is to really be like in the moment. So we completely avoid all spoilers before we call the show, just like we would be if we're there live. And it's just the anticipation of everything. My day, like I've already got my notes printed for tomorrow's broadcast, and it's the anticipation and the routine that I have when I do my live shows in Japan or, the post-produced ones here from home. So it's been different but same, if that makes any sense. It's still that same feeling in my chest, and the anticipation, and each match is so important. Nothing will be any better, in my opinion, than the G1.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing of New Japan. I started in like 2017, but 2018 was my first full G1, and having you and Rocky throughout the whole tour was just awesome and a great way to bring me as a fan. And last year's has been my favorite so far, just because my favorite wrestler is Sonata, and that his match with Okada last year definitely piqued my interest and be like, oh, this is a guy I want to see. And I love anytime he faces Zack Sabre Jr., and I'm so excited to see him face Zack Sabre Jr. pretty soon.
Yeah, I know. And again, I'll be interested to see where Sonata goes, after getting, starts 0-3 and then he beats Naito. Okay?
Yeah.
If he wants a title shot, and I don't know if Naito's going to go through the whole rest of this tournament with just a one loss. So if he wants a title shot and he doesn't win the G1, he needs to win more matches, because he can't finish at 2 points and expect to get a title shot in the fall. They'll hold off on it because he would have really laid an egg in this tournament. So he's got to do good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thank you for having me. I got to head out pretty soon, but thanks for so much. I just want to talk about the G1. It's my favorite. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to listen to your commentary throughout and like go back and rewatch it as well. Just can't get enough of the G1.
And we'll be live for the last three. So the final night of A block, final night of B block, and the final
Sonata Evil. That's my most hype match.
I know. It's going to be awesome. Thanks, man. It's good talking to you.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Michael.
You.
We will say hi to Hector.
Hey, Kevin. How are you?
What's happening, Hector? Where are you from?
I'm from Palos Hills, which is a suburb of Chicago. Been a long time fan of your work.
Thank you.
You get this question a lot, I'm sure, but I gotta take it back to Austin Pillman.
Sure.
What were your recollections of that day? And was there ever a point where you were like, when they told you this is what we're doing, you don't feel comfortable with this? And was there ever a point where you were like, maybe this is going off the rails and not going the way it's supposed to?
I knew very little about what we were going to be doing, Hector. I knew that, and Vince called an audible, just beforehand. We did a quick rehearsal of the interview with Brian, and then Vince decided that he wanted to ask some questions So I kind of was more of a microphone holder. But, you know, when the gun came out, that was the first I saw of it. And when the lights went out, that was the first I realized that was happening. And when I heard a shot, I knew everything was completely unplanned and was indeed, I felt like it was going off the rails. It was a very dangerous situation because, you know, here we are in the dark and we've got, I didn't know what the gun was. I had no idea. I'm not a gun guy. I didn't know what that pistol was that he presented. And just, it was a very tense, very scary situation, which was exactly the mood that they wanted. So they got it.
That's great, and you do a great job in the G1, and just keep it up and stay safe, and hopefully we can get back to normal soon.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. We would love to. I can tell you this, that there are plans to bring NJPW of America to Chicago. There were plans on the books before everything got shut down. So I would anticipate, you know, in the next year or so, for perhaps some events to be in your vicinity.
I'll look forward to it. Take care.
Okay. Take care, man.
Thanks, Hector.
All right.
Mr. Kelly, could you take us through the process of a post-production G1 show for you? Obviously, the last few have been recorded for the English commentary. So how do you guys go about doing it? Obviously, you said you and Mr. Romero avoid spoilers. How does the process go?
Well, we work off of, we get a clean version of the show with no other commentary on it. But it has all the nat sound and everything. So we start at the beginning of the file and we just watch it through. So sometimes, depends if it's a Samurai TV broadcast or if it's a TVSI broadcast. If it's TVSI, they take the intermission and to clean and sanitize the ring in the ringside area, but then they'll go to some commercials. The first time we had with Samurai, we didn't know that they went to match highlights, and I think the first one that happened like that was Naito versus Goto from last year, because that was going to be the main event that night. So it's a little bit flying by the seat of our pants, which is not much different from how it is when we're live. We're treating it as live as possible, if that makes sense, you know. And we've had some technical issues. I was having an internet problem one night this past week, so it took us a while to record the show. We would do a match and then stop, and then I'd have to reset everything, and then we'd start again. But really, we use technology that's not too much different than StreamYard. We've used, you know, we're using Zoom and Dropbox, and we record the show locally. We record the show on Zoom. We send our local audio files and the Zoom file so they can match everything up, because English is not their first language. So sometimes things have been out of sync a little bit, but we've got it now to where it's a pretty seamless process, and we're able to knock out the recording in almost the runtime of the file. And it's, we don't know what's going to happen. So it's all just, we just treat it as live.
Awesome. We're going to do a little segment cut here, and then I'm going to hop off the screen, and our little friend Steven's going to come on and ask you a couple questions.
Okay, very good. And if you need me to stay a few minutes past 6:30, that's okay, because I know we got a little bit of a late start. No problem.
Thank you. And here we
Hi, how are you?
Hey, Steve, what's happening, man?
Nothing much.
I like all your figures.
I've been collecting for only 2 years. That's the funny part.
That's really great. How do you get them? Do you buy them in a store? Do you find them online?
Well, mainly we find them online, but sometimes we find them from our Walmart.
Yeah. I know some friends of mine have gone like even to like flea markets and things like that, and they've gotten some really vintage ones, some rare ones.
I've got like a whole place full of jacks over here.
That's cool. What's your favorite figure? Which one are you most proud of?
In the box or out of the box?
Well, I don't know. You tell me.
Okay,
Which is your?
out of the in the box would be this Slim Jim Macho Man.
Oh, that is so cool.
One in
That's
a raffle,
awesome. Wow, that's great.
and the one out of the box would be the X-Pac.
Oh, really? Why is that one your favorite?
Because since I'm a kid and I play with all the wrestlers and stuff, he's like he has so much. He has good articulation. I just love it.
He's
It's
great.
good to play with.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from Canada.
Very
Toronto.
good. In Toronto, one of my favorite towns. We always had a great time there. So did you have questions? Did you just want to say hi? What's happening?
I had questions. I'm hoping you can settle this argument from me and my dad.
Okay.
If I might be a manager when I grow up since I can't wrestle. So I want to be a manager for a good guy. He says I can only be a manager for a bad guy. So which one is it, and why?
Well, historically, Dad would be right that managers have usually always accompanied bad guys to the ring because one of their main jobs as the manager is to distract the referee, hand in, a hunk of chain or brass knuckles or some weapon that the bad guy is going to use. But we've seen some good guy managers from time to time, but they are few and far between. So I think you have the chance to be different in being a good guy. But if you're a good guy, you seem like a good guy, Steven. I don't know. I just don't see you being a bad guy. You can be anything that you want, but you have to have a good relationship with the wrestler that you represent. You have to be well-spoken, and you have to be able to properly hype the matches so that it really interests the fans to either come see them live in the arena, watch them on TV, or order the pay-per-view. So that's very important. You've got to be a really good hype man.
Okay, second question. I went. So you've been a manager and announcer and an commentator. Sorry, commentator, and
Yes.
many more. What was your favorite thing to do?
Well, as I chew some ice, excuse me, I had a great time as a manager. I managed the Haas brothers in ECWA. That was Charlie Haas was one, and his late brother Russ, God rest his soul, was the other. We had a lot of fun in ECWA. We created all kinds of havoc there for my good friend Jim Kettner. But obviously being an announcer and calling matches in New Japan Pro Wrestling is the true highlight of my career. I've had the opportunity to announce for WWE, for Ring of Honor, for New Japan and various other companies around the country and the world, including Rev Pro in the UK. But being able to call matches for New Japan Pro Wrestling is the greatest thing I've ever done.
Okay. Last question. I love the world of wrestling. I would love to be a wrestler, but I can't because of my 2 brain surgeries and my Chiari. So what career do you think that I should go for?
Well,
in wrestling.
Yeah, I know. You can have a long career in wrestling, doing a lot of things. Wrestling is just one job of many. And if you think about it, there are wrestlers there for every one wrestler, right? Like in WWE, there's 200 wrestlers, but there's probably 500 or 600 people that work for the company in total on a full-time basis. And that's not including the local stagehands that help set up the events and put the shows together. I mean, you're talking hundreds, if not thousands of people that work behind the scenes to make everything happen. So it just depends on what your interest is. If your interest is on the television side, there's a ton of jobs because everything that you see on television and pay-per-view is produced by somebody. You could also work in live event promotion. You can work in marketing and sales. You can do a whole lot of things involving wrestling. And that doesn't have to be in front of people. It's all completely behind the camera. The most important thing, though, is to go to college and get a college degree, because I know the rules are the same now. They really look highly in the WWE, for example, on a career on having a college degree. But if you wanted to start at a local basis, like, for example, find a local promotion when you get a little older that's in and around your hometown, and go and volunteer. And you'll do everything from set up chairs and help put the ring together to making sure people are seated in the right seats. And then you could help a local promotion. And you might be running a camera. You might be doing just about anything. But there's a ton of jobs in wrestling for non-wrestlers. You can definitely have a long career with that.
Like a ref?
Oh, you could be a referee too. But a referee's got to get physical from time to time, and a referee might get hit. So I don't know if you'd be physically limited from doing that, or you could be an announcer. You could definitely be one of the announcers if you wanted to be.
I think I can be a ref because we've got that handled. We're gonna talk to Vince, or whenever I grow up to get there.
You talk to Vince, and you just tell him exactly what you want to do, and he'll appreciate it. Trust me.
Thank you one more time. It means a lot to me.
Thank you, buddy. You did a great job, and it was great to talk to you.
Thanks, Steven.
Bye.
Thanks, Steven. Bye-bye.
Mr. Kelly, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What is your biggest mark-out moment as an announcer?
Ooh. Let me think. Well, the first time I was in Japan certainly has to be. That's going back to October, almost 5 years ago. It was October 15th, 2015. I think that was the date of the show. Was the King of Pro Wrestling event. That was huge. Being at the Astrodome in Houston in front of 70,000 fans. That was pretty special. And, again, just even doing like my first show when I started in June of 1991 in Florida, it was surreal. The first time getting to climb into a ring at a training school in Florida and being able to, I trained a little bit just as though I'd know what I was talking about, because that was what Gordon Soley did. So it was, again, all of it. Growing up a fan, this is exactly where I wanted to be. I'm like Steven. I always wanted to be involved in wrestling, but I didn't see myself as a wrestler. Even when we would, we would tape record. This is how old I am. We would tape record matches, and I would be the announcer usually. We'd have matches with action figures, or I'd just do them by myself, or we would be rolling around outside, in my front yard. We weren't even in the backyard in Florida. We were out and proud. We didn't care. But there's just been so many. Like, I appreciate every day. And I love, when the music plays and a New Japan event starts, you know what I mean? It's never like, I don't get nervous anymore. I just am always excited. And I'm just that happy to be there guy. And just want to make sure that the fan experience is second to none.
And it certainly is so far. We will say hi to Michael.
Hey, Mr. Kelly. Nice to talk to you.
Hello, Michael. Where are you from?
Originally from Pittsburgh, but I'm living in Newport News, Virginia right now.
Oh, very good. Very good.
I got
we lost
New Japan. Yep, there we are.
Yeah, go ahead. Repeat what you were going to say. Start over again.
Okay. I just started watching New Japan this year, and I love it.
Great,
and
thank
the first match I was told to watch was the Omega Okada best of 3 match. So I'm a huge Okada fan rather. What match would you tell anybody out there that maybe have never watched New Japan to watch? Who would you tell them to watch?
Well, that's a good place to start. I would say, it's hard for me. I look at wrestling like a dinner at a restaurant, and every match is a course. You know what I mean? And you get different servings of different things when you watch a New Japan event. You'll see everything from an incredibly physical 30-minute main event involving Okada or Tanahashi Naito. But then you can go back and you'll watch a Toru Yano match, and you'll see, some fun aspects of it. You could watch a Minoru Suzuki match, and you're going to see something different. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. But if one fan picked one event, I would say go back maybe Wrestle Kingdom 9 and watch Tanahashi Okada, and then watch from 10, watch Tanahashi and Okada. So you'll see how it all played off, because Okada was driven to tears at the end of 9, and then that whole next year was built around getting him back and getting back to the top. So again, a whole different scene, and in the two different Wrestle Kingdoms. That's always a good place to start.
And the other question I got real fast is, do you ever see New Japan and AEW having a working relationship?
It wouldn't shock me. AEW has been very focused on building their audience, and they've done a great job. They've celebrated their first year now. I think they've done an outstanding job of developing their fan base, developing their stories, getting fans invested in the matches that they have produced, while New Japan has done the same thing. And think about AEW. They've had to do it in the wake of a pandemic. It was such a fan experience, a fan-intensive promotion where the fans were part of the show. And now they've had to go without that. So it's been very difficult, and they've had to really change. But they haven't had a drop-off, really, in viewership or enthusiasm, because everything seems to be great. But I definitely could see us, the two companies, working together in some shape, form, or fashion down the road when it's mutually beneficial for both companies. And both are in a good position. So I wouldn't say it's going to happen tomorrow, but sure, it'll happen at some point.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
I appreciate Tom, and like I said, I think New Japan's the best promotion in the world right now.
Well, I'm biased, but I agree with you. And you may have left Pittsburgh, but you didn't leave the Pittsburgh accent behind, my friend.
All right, man. I love Pittsburgh. Yeah, have a good night.
All right, buddy. You too. Take care.
All right.
We got two more for you, Mr. Kelly. We will say hi to Dennis first.
Hey, how you doing?
What's happening, Dennis? Where are you from?
I am from South Elgin, Illinois. It's about 45 minutes west of Chicago.
Very good.
First up, before I begin, I wanted to say I really enjoyed getting to meet you at the first StarCast. There's a picture I took with you.
Oh, yeah. Boy, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and being able to call the last 10 minutes of Okada versus Omega 4 with you was awesome, and it gave me a real appreciation for what you guys do.
Thank you.
And that stuff. So I got two quick questions here. The first is your all-time favorite match that you did commentary on. What would that be?
Oh, my gosh. I don't have one that stands out, but I said this a couple days ago on Twitter. We're all prisoners of the moment. But
Right.
that Zack Sabre Jr. Tetsuya Naito match from the second match of this year's G1, one of my all-time favorites. And being able to call Naito and Okada from the Dome, being able to call Liger's final matches, being able to just everything that I've done, in New Japan has been great. I never had any big match announcing experience in WWE. I got to call a lot of the syndicated shows. I got to call, do a lot of famous interviews. But in terms of announcing, it's really been focused on Ring of Honor. Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards from New York in Ring of Honor. The Briscoes versus Mike Bennett and Matt Taven, 2 out of 3 falls from Atlanta. That was one of my all-time favorite matches. But yeah, I mean, any of the big matches that Okada has had, any of the big matches that Tanahashi has had, Switchblade Jay White is just incredible, and I really enjoyed calling his matches because he really makes me think. Like, I have to think, like, what's he going to take away? He's like Bill Belichick in terms of game plan, He's going to take away his opponent's best weapon. What's that going to be, and what counter move is he going to have? So it's strategy as much as it is just a smash and grab offensive style. You see, it's much more of a thinking, and I love it in terms of announcing, because then I get to be intuitive and reflexive as opposed to just screaming move names.
And then I'll make this quick because my mic isn't the best on my phone and stuff. Your all-time favorite person to interview, and why?
Well, obviously, getting to interview The Rock was a lot of fun. Those were always, well received, and the fans really enjoyed them. Even the crew member, when the crowd, I'm holding the microphone out, and they would widen the shot, and the crowd in the arena would start to react, and I would look away, like I'm listening to the crowd as well, because I was. And it would just, and I would, if I made the crew laugh, like the cameraman and the guys holding the microphone, if I made them laugh, then I did good. So that was always like a standout favorite. But I got to interview The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and Triple H and the New Age Outlaws and on and on and on. I got to interview all the top stars during the Attitude Era, and that nobody's ever going to be able to take that away from me. That was like, are you kidding me? I wish I had more pictures. I wasn't like a big picture guy, but I wish I had them now.
Well, I'll make it quick again because, like I said, my phone's acting up a little bit on me. Thanks for your time. Looking forward to seeing you live. And do you have any indications of when you're going to be able to travel back to Japan to actually do these shows live? Have you been told anything as of yet?
I haven't been told anything officially yet. I don't want to say, but I have a feeling it'll be sooner rather than later.
Awesome, and we will hop into our last one for the night. We'll side to Genghis.
Hey guys, hey Kevin, how you doing?
What's happening, Genghis? Where are you from?
I'm from a town called Inkster, just outside Dearborn. I'm sure you know it because Ring of Honor always comes there all the time.
Had a great time in Dearborn, yes, sir.
Yes, I missed a couple of those shows, but I made the one out in Royal Oak a couple of years ago for War of the Wars.
Very
great
good.
show. Yep, my question is this: I miss you guys. I miss you and the crew of New Japan. I also miss you working with Steve Carino on the
Me too.
Ring of Honor shows. It was so awesome watching you guys, and it made watching wrestling more fun. And I don't know what is your favorite piece of memorabilia that you have at your house or in your man cave down there?
I was just saying, that's a great question. I was just saying to the previous caller that I wasn't like a big picture guy. And I regret that now, that I didn't take a lot of pictures when I was in WWE. So I don't have pictures of me interviewing The Rock. I had one picture of me interviewing, like I jumped in and I took a picture and I posed with D'Lo Brown when he was European champion. I have a picture with, I had to get a picture with Kane when he won the WWF Championship at King of the Ring, 98. Yeah. But I've saved a lot from Japan. So I'm looking forward, nice. And I have everything from programs and flight. You get the ticket, the printable ticket. Like I saved a lot of that stuff, and I look forward to one day going through and making some collages. Putting some things together and really creating a man cave. As soon as my oldest son moves out, this whole space down here is going to be mine. And
yeah,
fingers crossed he's out pretty soon. He's not here, thank God. He kicked my ass. He's 25 and he's a house. But anyway, so that's what I'm looking forward to being able to do. And my friend Blackjack Brown, who's a great photographer from the New York area, I have a picture somewhere, which I can't find, of Hawk and Animal in the Manhattan Center where I interviewed them and the people. And I was trying to find that because I was going to scan it and post it, when we all heard about Animal's, tragic passing. It's somewhere, and I will find it. And when I do, that's definitely going to be front and center. But I have so many great memories that will, stick with me as long, God willing, I keep my wits about me and I don't lose my head. But just experience is second to none throughout the years.
All right. Thanks. I appreciate it. You're my favorite wrestling announcer.
Thank you very much, Genghis. That means a lot. Really does.
Thanks, Genghis.
Right. Thanks, Jake.
So firstly, I want to say thank you to Mr. Tamatanga for making this happen and making the other two happen tonight. I also want to say thank you to Mr. Kelly for all your contributions to the business, and your knowledge of the business is second to none, I believe. And besides for the G1 Climax, where can everybody else find you?
Well, on Twitter at Real Kevin Kelly, same on Instagram, but I don't post a lot there. But Twitter is the best way to go. So at Real Kevin Kelly, and drop me a note. Let me know what you thought of the interview. Let me know your thoughts about the G1, and stay in contact with me that way. That's the best time. And I'd love to come back anytime, Jacob. This has been a blast.
Thank you, everybody, and have a great night.